Right. Good morning, everyone. Things should be working. I see that our audio is probably registering. Let me just get the dashboard. Everything's reset, so I gotta... Love it when my computer restarts. Dashboard, everything's reset, so the audio works. I love it. So, today we're getting into some more Satisfactory because I have had the itch to try and get my factory up and running a little bit more. I've been playing around with the blueprints a little bit, trying to get some stuff prepared because I had this idea, right, to build... How do I want to put this? Like, I wanted to build a primary power system. Something that runs all of the geothermal generators together and then plugs into the power network. Reason I want to do that is because no matter what, geothermal power will run. So having all the geothermal stuff hooked up as a baseline to the grid is like the optimum thing to do. But I also want to make that baseline able to power up a small nuclear facility so that when we go full scale, and this all kind of is taking into account that, when we go full scale, we're going to be using a lot of nuclear power. So when, or rather if, anything goes wrong, we'd be able to use the geothermal power to get probably some coal power up and running or some fuel power, and then upgrade that all the way to nuclear stuff, and then get the power system back operational. Now, we left off, we were getting some of this stuff ready. And that's getting all of your aluminum together. Okay, so copper is up here, which is mostly fine. We can run that afterwards. We also need to run alclad sheeting. Okay, so these need to have an output that swings around and goes over that way. That also has... Trying to make sure I don't accidentally forget something. It's copper and silica. That is... Okay, so yeah, that does grab the silica. Okay, yeah. And then that hooks into there, and okay. So alclad sheeting needs to go into those. And when we go back to the main base, because we are going to need a lot more alclad sheeting, I'm going to try to get some productions finished for the space elevator parts. Because we do have the machines in place, we just haven't, like, wired them up back there. Because, and part of the reason for that is because the base was never designed to run at this tier. It was never designed to run those parts. So things kind of just trickle in, and it's not a great thing, but I'm gonna wire it that way. I ate right before stream, and now I very suddenly don't feel great, which is not promising, but we're going to try to get stuff done anyway. Rather than make a big fuss about trying to get this across, what if I... No, do the thing. Do the thing. Thank you. And then that lets you have a single space to run a conveyor through there. Which I don't think we're going to need. But we also aren't really going to need, we are not going to need to have to run everything down the other side. So this kinda works out. Splitters on that side, mergers on this one. Oh, and if you want to see the kind of thing I was working on, so this is like my first prototype because I was just playing around with stuff and I didn't have a whole lot of time. And then I've also got this. I like this one a lot more. It's a lot bigger. It looks a lot more like official. You got a little lighting thing down there. Hopefully that'll work to play with the lights. I thought of putting a battery somewhere, and I'm probably going to make a version with a battery, but I need the larger version of the blueprint thing, because this was already made using the Mark II. I need the Mark III. Okay, so we got that, and then we need copper sheeting, which we aren't going to be able to get yet, and then these make heat sinks. Copper ingot and that to make casing. So these use heat sinks. We're at 15, so that's 45. Yeah. Yeah. This is probably going to be all of our heat sinks. That did not get built where I wanted it to be. Can I build it there? Yes. What are these? That makes quartz. Okay. We're also going to end up needing quite a bit of power shards for the final thing. You know, that's probably fine to the point where I can... And then I can probably, like, have it buzz over here. Because that's the input to that machine. So this space should be okay for us to use. that down. I'm going to put this, I think, right here. For some reason, I have the song Hell by Brothers of Metal stuck in my head. Not Hell with two L's, Hell as in Norse mythical figure associated with the underworld. Helheim. I make that into a half instead of a... Yoink. That. Does this. Beautiful. Don't go away. It won't stop playing over and over in my head. It's a good song, but it won't stop playing. So a lot of these aren't going to add up particularly nicely. The reason being that I'm only trying to get the end machines to run at optimal levels. I'm not trying to get every machine running at optimal levels. As long as the final ones are operational, we'll be good. What is that for? Did I? Where does this come from? Where does this go? Oh, is this silica? Yeah, this is going to be a silica runoff. Okay, where's... Why didn't I hook you up? Finish you, or did I just get distracted by trying to weave you through everything? I probably just got distracted. Yeah. I'm not terribly enthusiastic about working down there, but it will be what it will be. And as you can see, I've put up some miners already to try and head off some of our needs. I want to grab the Mercer Sphere over here. There's a couple of Mercer Spheres lying around that we haven't grabbed. A bunch more stuff. That's done, that's done. You, what is your output? You produce high-speed connectors. You eat high-speed connectors. Okay, that's a super simple equation. What do you eat? 7, 5, 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. These are 7.5, 21. Yeah, so these should be all of your high-speed connectors. Of course, with hell playing in my head nonstop, I want to play God of War Ragnarok, but that would involve starting a new game. We've already got things that we haven't finished, and I cannot deal with more distractions. Speaking of distractions, Tuesday's stream is probably going to have to wait until the evening. I might try to squeeze something in early in the morning, but I believe, yeah, Tuesday is going to end up being the 31st, and I've got an appointment at 10:30. So I'm going to have to be done and out at like 9. So good news is I have Tuesday off, so I'll be able to stream in the evening. Morning, I'll probably do like a really short World of Tanks stream, or I might try to get some. I don't think I'm gonna do some Helldivers, because that's Helldivers is like an investment, right? You need to put a little bit of time and effort into Helldivers. The missions can go for a while. The view, though, that's kind of why I want to have. If I make the final base over here, the final base is going to like fill up the entire thing. Like our base in the desert is basically covering the entire desert at this point, aside from like the rocky valleys and canyons. It is a whole ass thing. That. Did the wrong thing the first time. Okay, let's try this again with the correct elevation. That does work. however, is not in line with that, so that's an issue. That's better. Look at that. That'll be fine. And then I'm going to use a merger to do that, followed by this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, but that does reach, and we don't need it to go any further, so that's fine. Yoink that. Yoink that. That. And, as I mentioned earlier, we are going to need a metric fuck ton more alclad sheeting. So let's head back to the base, get our elevator parts at least partially up and running. And at this point, by the way, I have like no idea what any of the things I've got listed off to the side are for. Because it's one of those situations where I end up starting a project and either I don't finish it or I do finish it and things come out a little bit different than I expected. But, yeah, that... Well, the resource wells and the power towers, I know for a fact I'm basically done with those. It's the water extractors and the constructors and everything else that I'm a little bit more... Although I am going to need a bunch of water extractors. I also kind of redid some of that because we're going to have to power up the bauxite. We're going to have to do some stuff with the oil. Like, I know we're going to need oil, and that's probably going to be the closest one to our facility, but I'm holding off on judgment for that for right now. Like that's the other thing, right? At this point, even though things aren't completely optimized, I've got so much stuff that's hooked up. I would need to individually, like, check. Well, I can almost guarantee most miners aren't actually at level 3, but when we get to the next phase, I'm going to have to, like, individually check every single miner and make sure that A, it's a level 3, and by the time I'm probably done getting everything built for our true final factory, I'm probably going to need to have every miner sufficiently highly boosted, overclocked with the power slugs. So, like, yeah, because you see over here is like a savanna type thing, and you got the rocky plateaus over there. So basically everything that's just sand is covered with machinery. And that massive line is what I was mentioning is yeah. All of this is copper. Both of these lines. That's a total of 70 refineries. Just to make 2 nuclear pasta per minute. Absolutely ridiculous. Goes in. Nope. That. I'm trying to save like a little bit of space here. Okay, so I mentioned having some things over here that were like kind of ready to be built. Fused mod frames. Okay, so I need supercomputers and ACUs in order to make the adaptive director. Here's your supercomputers in the first place. I don't think I'm going to need any others right now. Are making assembly directors. So assuming that can make a stack of 50, we've got the capacity for like 200 here. Which I'm going to count as being fine. I want to see if we've got a spot for ACUs and if it's hooked up at all. We do. It's not hooked up to anything. That. Goes down there, hooks up there, goes down here, here. This goes straight from that. Splitter. Well, I can't really have it hook up to that. Alternative is this way. I want to see just how many of these have actually been made. Okay, so we do have actually quite a lot of them. It's just that it takes them a while to be built. So let's... I'm going to swap left to any and center to overflow. Because I don't know how many we're actually going to end up needing. Put this Yep, we already got some ACUs getting produced. That there. I actually kind of like how that looks, so I'm going to keep it. these are the machines that are making the ACUs. I think one of the better ways to do this why didn't I make one over there? Why are those up? Okay, so I'm going to need to make sure those are going the right way. Yes. Sometimes the animals in this game just get a little feisty. One, two, three, four. I'm gonna put it here. That way I can try to there. There. What I want to try to do is I want to try to, when I bring the next one up, I want it to be, I want it to swing over. That be in line. how do I... Actually works quite well. Those are hooked up. Those are hooked up. And then I just need to duck these. Which is probably not going to end particularly well, considering our power situation. See, we're getting a line of ACUs already, so it'll take forever to build them, but it'll be fine. And despite that snapping, it hasn't actually done the thing. I'm gonna do a curve instead. And that takes care of the first part. And then these should be at least some of the others. Magnetic field, yeah. This is why I was starting to work on additional electromagnetic control rod stuff. Because we're not going to have enough control rods for our nuclear facility and for this. So I started future proofing. What are you? You are making the fuel rods. You are the transport for the fuel rods. Yes, okay. I know what we're doing. Okay. I'm going to need to merge our new Caterium productions with over here eventually, which is why I'm doing that. And that is going to be like first slot there. Yoink. Spot. I don't think we even we haven't even started making these. Oh, because we need AI limiters and stators, which is why I didn't start making them. Okay, that's... Mercer Sphere. Although I did kind of want to leave that because that's kind of neat that's there in the first place. So that's... might be fine. Okay, this one's gonna pop out in front. No, not there. Here. And I want that to come out there. I'm not fully sure how well that's gonna go. this might have to get worked a little bit. That hooks up correctly. That. Ha 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 ha! Figured it out. So that gets those. That gets those. And then we need to wire over the versatile frames. Hopefully I've started that process, because I've started a lot of things and I haven't like finished them. But I'm not seeing versatile frame as one of our things. Be on the other side. Frame. Okay, this is the container for frames. Frames do not go that way. Can I... Uh-oh. We're getting a little bit of lag, which kinda is to be expected. Okay, so if I put... No, that's way too close. I would need to split it off over here. And then worry about getting it around. I'm going to use a standard splitter. Would be very close. sure there really is much difference between narrow and, default and straight right there. So you grab onto that, you grab onto that. Keep coming. Get up here. And then, how do I get... How do I get my parts from there around? 'Cause this is... You have a thing. I can't do that. So that gets you to there. Can't. Can I swing it? Over there. No. Not if it's capped like that. It is not pretty, but by God, it works. Which just goes to reinforce the idea that when we go about building our next major factory, our final factory, we need a much wider resource belt. Like, I thought this was going to end up being plenty for what we needed it to be, and it is... It's not woefully inadequate, but it's getting really close. Like, there's definitely optimizations I could make, and having level 5 belts definitely does help and will help. But there's still the fact that there's so much. So if I want to draw that through there, how does that look? Well, number one, like, it is doable. See that clipping at all, so as far as I'm concerned, it's fine. Goes up there, comes up here. I'm not going to make that into an even higher belt, but I will put this on this level so that I can weave ceiling belts over here. Get that started first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, that'll work. Then we fly over to where my machines are so that I can see what the hell I'm doing. It's these ones that need it. Dunk. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dunk. And that moves over. So that's operational. Now one of the last things we need is the electromagnetic control rods, which require both AI limiters and stators. Oh, god dang it. I feel like I might already have a belt getting AI limiters over here. Okay, so that's 758 steel beams. 9. Drop that for now. AI limiters. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Come at Joe. I love pre-existing infrastructure. No idea. Oh, those are the supercomputers. Well, better late than never. I need inputs for this. Also helps if I have everything like actually wired in. Hang on. Ingenuity. That, and then that. That goes. And then I have to rebuild all these to make sure they actually hook up. There we go. And they are sucking up frames, which is great. Honestly, we should have plenty of extras. There's like nothing over here to interfere. Which is golden. Stuff like that to make just that fine. One, two, three, four. Yoink. That takes care of your AI limiters. Now we need to bring over stators. Hang on a second. Do we have... Could have sworn there were machines for the other thing. That's for them. That's for those. That's for the electromagnetic. Did we not build anything for... the third part? Okay, so it's not in this machine. Thermal propulsion rocket. I don't think we did. I might have left this space for them, but that... no, that's a little bit tight. Can do. Probably only really need like 2 of them. For these, you would need to bring over modular engines. What do I need? Stators. How's our infrastructure doing? Because we would have turned on a bunch of machinery. Okay, so it spiked about 2,000 megawatts, but we are fine. Is there anything over here bringing stators? No. Nothing is bringing stators over. This is a problem. So that means that we're going to have to need another belt. And we're not even really making the other thing. This, that. Okay, stators. I'm going to yank it, I think, from over here. Double tap that. That goes there. And then it transfers to a single. I think that actually works. Oh yeah, that'll work. Oh yeah, we'll be fine. So yeah, this is like what I mentioned when I was talking about our belt being not enough. The upsetting part is that we are now going to have to trace that line again. Please get the parts to complete phase 4 so that we can glimpse some new technologies. I mean, none of these are going to be done anytime soon, and we still have absolutely none of the things we need for nuclear pasta, because that is going to be a nightmare. But we're getting there. Okay, so you do that, you go over here. Need to put a thing right there. To make you do that. Make this. You're going the wrong way. To do that. Yoink. There, they go here. There. We got a creepy crawler trying to shoot me in the butt. Yoink. hopefully everything works. Hooked up fuel rods. Okay, so those are all working now, which means that they'll start producing electromagnetic fuel rods, or control rods rather. Some of those are going to go up there, most of those are going to go into those. Starting to get assembly director systems. So we should be getting about everything except for this stuff. And then all of our fucking nuclear pasta. Fuck the nuclear pasta. Okay, so the first thing we need is turbo motors. Turbo motors are really close. I think these are them. Nope. These are them. Yes. And turbo motors are using cooling systems, so in theory we can just wire off the cooling systems to over here. Two birds, one stone. I'm gonna pull a cable. We also need heat sinks? No, we need cooling. Okay, yeah. I should space this out a little bit more. Which should be fine. Cooling systems. So I need to figure out which line. Interior line, isn't it? Yep. Okay. That actually works relatively well. Alright, and you got cooling systems going in. Turbos, cooling. Okay, so we need fused mod frames, which should be coming out of one of these blenders. A lot of our machinery is going to end up kicking on. I don't think I'm ever going to like fully delete all of this, but I'm definitely going to end up moving the space elevator at some point. And I might just leave this as like a reminder of the massive amount of engineering. I'll probably also end up removing a bunch of the our current power system. But again, it's need to get those over here. These. Which should be a pretty easy adjustment, all things considered. I just need to weave this. Over there. Piece of shit. Monster. This one go. That one go. That one go. Okay. Those. Constantly trying to narrow down my inventory a few notches. Nope. Stuff doesn't hook up to the right spot. And then the only thing I need now is the motor units. Modular engines. And those are going to be a process. Just do a quick... Yeah, we're holding alright so far. I don't think we've done anything with modular engines over here. Got the ACUs. Modular engines are that one. Goes here, goes there. Yeah. Absolute rat's nest. Belt turns too sharp. Ah. I'll leave it onto this one. I need this. There. This. I built it the wrong damn way. I hate myself, I hate myself, I hate myself. Easy fix. Kind of. And then that's going to start yoinking those up to here. And I'm going to make a third line, aren't I? Hang on, these need mergers. If all my problems were this simple, I'd never really complain about it. But my problems are never that simple. Probably gonna go for another half hour-ish. Maybe. So clearly we're going to end up needing more concrete. That's going to be its own problem. That. Those in, those in. Try those in. Yoink. And that's just going to keep filling with parts. That's set up. That's set up. Why are you trying to go that way? No, it's not. Shape, what the fuck? fucking spitter bug thing trying to shoot me. All of those modular engines. Thermal propulsion. Okay, so now we're making every part that we need for the final phase of the space elevator, except for nuclear pasta. So, what I'm probably going to do, just because there's so much of it, I'm probably going to work on getting copper and water to this plant. Probably not in time for the next Satisfactory stream, but I'm at least going to start working on that project because there's 70 of these. So 15 times 7, that's 700. That's over 1,000 copper ore. It's 1,000 copper ore, that's 700 water, and that's just for those. And then those are functioning. And then I would also need to get, like... Well, water and iron is easy. There's iron things in the desert that we're not using, but copper is going to be an issue. And I still have all of that for the other control rods. But all that, having all that wired up means that we can now go back to our other area and work on our stuff without too much distraction. Of course, I do need a bunch of concrete, iron rods, and everything now to make sure that I can build the infrastructure for our stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3. 3. So I need 6 plates, 6 rods. Start shoving all of that into the storage. And before we get back, I will grab even more alclad sheets. Never have enough. Never, never, never. So yeah, I'm at least going to get started pumping up the refineries by the time we get to our next Satisfactory stream. Current plan, I'll probably do some World of Tanks on Tuesday morning for an hour, because I have an appointment, as I mentioned before. When I get back, or rather when I wake up in the evening after I run some errands, I think we're going to do some Witcher 3. We haven't done Witcher 3 in a while. And then Thursday morning we will do some Subnautica. Should probably get more turbo fuel, but we're fine. Haven't heard Ada say anything about the Mercer Spheres in a while, though. That has me more concerned than anything. It's over there. I saw one. I definitely remember seeing... Yep. Wait, nope. Do I dare? Do I dare? Do I dare? Oh fuck, there's a giant green one. Oh fuck, there's a giant green one. Motherfucker. Need to make more bullets. See, it ain't the little ones that I'm overly concerned about. It's the big fuckers. At the same time, don't get me wrong, the little fuckers are a problem. The big ones are downright fucking scary. Iron. It might be under the roots there. Which would be an interesting development. I'm a fucking god. I just need this to not get stuck on the side of the... Not far enough. About there. Oh, fucking A. I can't hear you, Mercersphere. That hurt a lot more than I thought it was going to.
I expect you'll perform better in other areas.
Shut up. we're totally not going to overcompensate. Where did you hear something ridiculous like that? I should really automate some of this stuff. But ammunition is not the highest priority. I need 10 of the metal canisters in order to well... Yeah, we need 10 metal canisters to unlock rocket fuel. And then we need 200 rocket fuel and 100 production shards. See, I want to... Making time crystals is going to be a lot. 13 and 151, 23 and 199. That's just upload speed. Unfortunately, we can't do anything else about our capacity. And the alien power matrices. Matrices. I hate spiders. Come on, do the fucking... There we go. This is the superior mode of transportation. Aside from just ripping around on the zip line or flying on the back of Big Blue. By the way, apparently they updated the flying around on Big Blue model thing. I'm not sure if they did that for the next update or if that's been that way for a while, but I heard somewhere that they were updating some of the visuals and textures on Big Blue. Kind of fucked the jump there, but that's fine. Well, he's dead. Yeetus! Deletus. Hiya boys, how's it going? They're spicy. A little bit spicier than I remember. Not particularly happy about that. Thought there was a third. Jesus fuck. Pretty sure he just pinged out of existence. Death crate's over there. I'm gonna throw the iodine filters in there for now. Throw another stack of that. Yoink.
Play.
Why was I getting damaged?
Consume.
Look, I'd love to play around with you, but first I need to actually, like, figure out my inventory here.
Harmonize with us.
Give me a moment, holy shit. Maybe I should work on updating
Listen to the rhythm.
the Mercer Sphere stuff. $27 left, and then we can
Defile the scripture.
and then we can get the Mercer Sphere.
Consume.
I know, give me another 10 seconds.
Harvest. Witness.
And Ada's not even going to say anything about it. Oh, that's okay. Yep, I see what's over there now. And our health will slowly regenerate. We'll be fine. So we made some pretty good progress today. We got a few machines wired up at our nuclear power plant, which is good. We got all of the productions set up at our main base, except for nuclear pasta, because nuclear pasta is going to be an absolute nightmare. But yeah, beyond that, we're in a pretty good spot. We're going to need all the bauxite. That looks like limestone, which we can use for concrete if we don't have enough already. It's kind of heavily guarded, and we don't have a whole lot of health. So I'm just gonna, you know, skip that one for now. Mid-air switch. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Okay, so, just so I know what we're doing for next time, what do we got? Okay, so these still need copper. This. We were working on this. So the only thing left we need to do is bring over quartz crystals, which are over there. So yeah, quartz crystals, and then we will have radio control units done. What are radio control units for? Do they go in here? No, that makes fused modular frames. It's a bunch of refineries. Radio control. Radio in here. Heavy mods. Why would I make radio control units? It's for something on the first floor, isn't it? Wouldn't be these, wouldn't be those. That's all set up. Those are set up. That just needs iron. Uranium, sulfur. It's for these, isn't it? Nope. I might have to look at that. Why would I build machines that are making ACUs or radio controls. What in this pile needs radio controls, and did I build it? I'm going to save the game and then check that now. Babylon Stream 61. We've officially passed the 300-hour mark. Okay, so I am going to go to the ending screen, but I am going to flip through a few of my screenshots before I dip, because I want to see what the hell I was doing. This will be one of the first ones for... Okay, we don't need radio controls there. Ah, radio controls are used to make the pressure conversion cubes, which are used to make plutonium cells. So I don't know if we actually have the pressure conversion cubes set up there, but we need them for the conversion cubes. And then I'll be able to make 4 plutonium cells per minute, and that'll be that. All right, everyone, take care and stay safe. I'll catch you next week, Tuesday, double stream. We'll start at 8 a.m. as per usual. We'll do about an hour, and then I've got something to go to. Roll the tanks that day for an hour. Evening stream. Probably in the 11 o'clock, 10 or 11 o'clock p.m. start time. Gonna do some Witcher 3, and then Thursday 8 a.m. Yeah, Thursday 8 a.m. We'll be doing probably some Nautica. So take care, everyone, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.